Florida continues to see that high volume of demand just because of those reasons, cost of living, and as well as focusing, I'm sure you guys know the area, but it is in close proximity to the Disney area. There are many city attractions, and it is very close to the beaches as well. So the job opportunities and the city growth is bringing a lot of people migrating to this area, which is creating quite a bit of demand for the rental market here. So we are seeing, in addition to that, unusually high appreciation for investors, particularly the ones who have purchased in areas prior to massive growth coming into that area. So we're going to kind of dive right into some of these areas and what we're seeing. And I'm going to focus in on some areas where we are going to see development, whether it's started or it's in the current state of being developed, because again, that's where we're going to see quite a bit of appreciation over the years. So I'm going to focus right in on what's called NeoCity. And this is a development that's coming to the Orlando area. It's just right outside. It's actually southwest of the Orlando attractions, Disney, which we'll see on the map. And they've got quite a bit going into this area. And so this is where we're going to focus on some of the properties on the outskirts. And I'm going to go over with you what exactly is NeoCity and why is it important to you. And so NeoCity right now, it's being recognized here in the Orlando market as the up and coming world epicenter for smart sensors, photonics, and optics. It has ready-made synergies with the University of Central Florida, which is the nation's largest producer of aerospace engineers. The University of Florida here, as well as University of South Florida, Florida International University, and Florida Atlantic University, all here near Central Florida's largest concentration of Department of Defense partners and contractors. So you can see a little bit of that development and kind of what's coming to the area, what's already in the works. It's been strategically placed, this area of NeoCity, which I'll show you more on the map. It's been placed in close proximity to Orlando, inside of America's only spaceport, seaport, airport, and rail grouping, which is important as we're looking at investment opportunities. It's poised to serve as a catalyst for high-tech innovation and creation, and it's including many jobs and much capital investment. NeoCity is already generating marketplace momentum, and it's also as well as this nation's approach to the advancement of research development and commercialization hubs, all within the boundaries of locally planned communities. So I'm going to go over some of those locally planned communities near this area that's being developed. And I'm going to show you on the map here, which is very important to understand where they're placing NeoCity. If you're familiar with the Orlando area, here you'll find the downtown market. We're going to go just southeast, and you're going to find the Orlando International Airport that I mentioned. Right next to the airport here, we're just going to go a little further south, and we're going to find what's called Lake Nona, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It is a very popular, famous area here in the Orlando area. And in that Lake Nona region, which is Medical City, pull my mouse up, right in this area here. It has very close proximity to the Orlando International Airport, as well as the city attractions, which are going to be just west. And so you see here on the map, they've placed this NeoCity very strategically right south of the Orlando Airport, very close to Lake Nona, and is going to be positioned in between the city of St. Cloud as well as Kissimmee. So one thing I want to note about this area and why we're focusing so heavily on it for investment, you're going to see on the left-hand side here, all the development that has already been put in and then what's coming to the area. So I mentioned a lot of the universities. These are very popular, world-renowned. I've also mentioned Lake Nona Medical City. So all the hospitals, the healthcare, that's attracting a lot of working, class where these individuals are coming in, they're going to school, they're also coming in for Medical City, and they're needing places to rent out. And so these are very high paying, high salary positions, and they don't necessarily want to purchase in the area yet. So they're looking for a rental while they're going to school or they're working at the hospitals here in Lake Nona. And where are they coming to? They're coming to this NeoCity area. Here's St. Cloud Corridor. And this is also something on the left-hand side I want to focus on for this NeoCity, which is really going to be the tech and innovation centers that I had mentioned to you. So that's going to be bringing quite a bit of job and quite a bit of growth here to the area. And of course, we have the international airport in close proximity and the transit stations, which is very important for people. So you can see on that map a little bit about where it's positioned. And here we'll focus a little more in detail on this NeoCity. Close proximity again to the airport, and it's also close proximity to the Florida Turnpike, which is very important for people to be able to get in and out of the city very quickly. So it's providing a lot of residential and planned community developments in the properties that I'll show you, where it's putting them close proximity to the city. So whether they work in Lake Nona, or they work in NeoCity, or they work in downtown Orlando, this particular area is going to attract quite a bit of people needing housing. So here I'm going to focus a little bit more on what's coming to the area. When I mentioned before, the appreciation, that's huge for investment. So a lot of times when you're looking to invest in an area, you don't want to invest in an area that's already been completely developed and that appreciation is at its height. You want to look for areas where it's just in the works. So the starting development is coming, and you want to watch for these major companies coming in to an area. And that's when you know that development is now moving southward. So you can see they've put in the Walmart in this NeoCity St. Cloud corridor that we're talking about next to Kissimmee as well. They're putting the Publix, which is the main grocery store. They're putting in all the healthcare and the Walgreens, Chipotle, major restaurants. So that's all very important to note that those things have been put in to these areas. And then we're now going to look a little bit more about the proximity of this NeoCity, St. Cloud, Kissimmee corridor, proximity to the attractions of Orlando. This is huge for whether you're using this as a rental property, a vacation home, or something you'd want to come to down the road. You want to have it in close proximity. So you can see on the map here, where I'm circling, this is that area that I've been discussing with you. It's right in through here. So you can see just west, we have Walt Disney World, we have all the parks and resorts, we've got the SeaWorld, which is important, and the Universal just north as well. So very, very close proximity to all the attractions. But the nice thing about this corridor here and where we're focusing on the developments are, you're not right next to them where you're going to get a lot of that traffic. So these are not areas where, you're going to see I-4, backed up quite a bit with traffic. And so investment, purpose wise, it's good to get maybe 15 minutes out from the attractions, 15 to 30, where you're going to get more higher value, higher rental figures in this particular area here. So moving on to the next area, I'm going to focus on what they've begun to bring to the NeoCity area and what's important if you're looking at this for investment. They've put in 2.2 miles of dedicated bike lanes. They've put in the trails, which is getting people outdoors. People absolutely love to see this. They're putting in 15 acres of open space, linear parks. They've put in structural landscape to really give it a nice appearance, 10 acres of urban farm, and broad walk, which is very important. So NeoCity is a master plan. It's bringing sharp focus to Osceola County and its efforts. And let me move this so I can see my presentation here. Apologize. Economic development and job creation. This area is galvanizing planning efforts for county-owned land between Kissimmee and St. Cloud, and is very close to the lake Tehoppa-Kalija. It's anticipated to be a leader in sustainable development, and NeoCity has been integrated into an interconnected network of growing population centers, which is just south of Orlando, like we discussed. So a little bit more about the NeoCity. I want to really focus on what's coming long-term for the economic output, which is very important as you're considering these areas for investment, $25 to $20 billion. So, excuse me, direct jobs that are coming into the area, you can see anywhere from 26 to 34,000. Indirect, very high numbers here, 40 to 45,000. And so what you're seeing here with the NeoCity, it's not just necessarily, they call it a city, so it kind of confuses people because people think they're buying in a city. It's actually a development. It's a master plan development within 2 cities. So that's where we're focusing on these rentals, which I'm going to show you, that are just outside of this neo city where all these jobs are coming, all this growth is coming, the labor market increasing. So the first community I want to focus on, which is going to be in close proximity to these areas that we mentioned, one is called Hanover Lakes. It's a hidden gem, very, very popular community. They've almost sold out, and it's a waterfront dream. It's just south of the Orlando area, of which I showed on the map. And you're seeing waterfront property in this particular community priced from the 440 to the 750s. So it's unheard of for the city of Orlando to be able to get on the water and have lakes at your doorstep. So this particular community, Hanover Lakes, it's got scenery all around. You experience the beauty of Florida just outside with a boat dock. You can have a private boat dock in this community. And so we've found a lot of people that whether they want to turn this into a rental or come down the road and be near the water and be able to get out on the chain of lakes. These particular homes are waterfront and they have access to the chain of lakes. So there are water lots available. There's canals that actually weave throughout the whole community. So if you do want to see more video footage of this neighborhood, definitely reach out to Monica because she has some videos of this. Absolutely beautiful. So the residents' backyards, it's actually backed up to a 3,400 acre lake. So in addition to this particular community has quite a bit of amenities. It has a resort style zero entry beach entry splash pad and expansive sun deck with views of the entire community. This particular community is also very convenient location. It is in Osceola County where we've been discussing close proximity to all the major attractions. And I'm going to show you 2 inventory that actually are available. Like I said, this particular community, there's been quite a few extensive waiting lists and people purchasing these. So these may go quickly. Some of them may have already sold, but this particular one I have available still. One of these just sold actually. So this one I did confirm is available. It is on the water and it's called the Osceola Floor Plan. So as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. It is a 5 to 6 bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,899 square feet, and it is priced at $722. It's going to be ready in April, and it is totally move-in ready. There's also additional incentives that this builder is giving. So definitely contact Monica if you'd like more details about this one. The other one I want to focus on is called the Emerson Executive. So this one is also waterfront, wide open. You can see some of the canal in the background. This one's going to be move-in ready as well. And it is 2,291 square feet. It's a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, and it is move-in ready. So priced at $631 to be on the water with that kind of square footage. Again, unheard of. So this one is very beautiful. And this one is also giving great incentives. So contact us for more details about this one. And then I'm going to focus your attention on one other community that's going to be very close to, let me get out of here. You'll have to excuse me. The allergies are kicking in here. So, okay. I want to focus your attention on a community called Tahokwa. So this neighborhood is absolutely phenomenal. So I want to show you the video of this one. This is a very popular community for investors right now. Many investors have come into the area and have purchased here. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a video. So just tune into this real quick and watch a little bit more about it. So this is Tahokwa. So you can see beautiful landscape, lots of opportunities for purchasing. Close proximity to Neo City, where we discussed incredible amenities, beautiful resort style pool. Really, this community has everything that you would need, whether you're renting it or you're coming to live. short-term, long-term. And I'm going to focus a little bit on what they have in this neighborhood. So this is a very unique builder. The properties in this neighborhood have really been flying off the shelf with the incentives they've been giving. This particular builder is giving $40,000 worth of incentives. So very incredible deals going on. I'm going to show you a little bit about with the pricing. So you can see the clubhouse and the pool, which we just looked at. And I want to show you some of the homes that are available where they're offering this $40,000 incentive. So you can see here the Sierra is priced at $450,000. They are offering $40,000 incentive off that. And you can see it's a beautiful two-story home. This is great for rental. It's low maintenance. So when we see this price here, it's already been reduced. It's at $450,000. They're offering an additional $40,000 off of this property. Everything is going to come included in this home. So many upgrades. You're not having to upgrade anything. Low energy efficient, low energy bills. So this, I would definitely reach out to Monica if you've got more interest in this or you'd like more details about this. But as you can see, for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 2,500 square feet, within that community near Neo City, absolutely incredible rental options here for this community. So this is one of the floor plans that I'm showing you here. And I want you to see a little bit of the pictures here inside. So as you can see, wide open. It's going to come with the stainless steel appliances. It's going to come with the upgraded cabinets, upgraded cabinetry, as well as the, excuse me, solid surface countertop. So beautiful, beautiful options here. One other one I want to show you. We'll pull it up here. This one is called the Autumn. So this one is really one of the best values I'm seeing in the entire city of Orlando. So again, located to that Neo City area, this is going to get incredible rental figures. And for this low of price, it's really unbeatable. So 1,795 square feet, it's priced at $395. Again, an additional $40,000 in incentive on this particular home. So it comes move-in ready to be rented. We have property managers here in the area that can get these homes rented out very quickly. So there is a very high demand for rentals right now. So beautiful upgrades throughout. Countertops, you can see all upgraded stainless steel appliances. So beautiful options here. So if you've got more interest in this particular one, or some of these do strike interest with you, whether it's Hanover Lakes or Tahokwa, please reach out to Monica because she can get you some more details and we can get you connected here in the area to a great property manager who we can also get you some rental figures for these too. So these are, like I said, flying off the shelf. There's a very high rental demand going on right now, especially for these homes. We've got a lot of investors that are coming in and purchasing these just because, again, they are move-in ready. And they're coming at an incredible value. So hopefully that gives you a little details. And then Monica, I'll let her jump back on here just to see if there's any questions that you may have about these properties. I so appreciate your time and letting me share a little bit more about the Orlando market.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nataka. That's very nice. And we learn a lot about the Neo City, which is a very exciting project. And just like what like NOLA is. So we got a question from Law. How much is the HOA and what does it cover? And what is the assessment? If there's any Melrose or special assessment and property tax rate and typical rent for 4 or 3 bedroom. So I presume that Law might be asking more the last project, the Tahokwa, being that is, I think is really one of the best price property. We've been actually helping clients to secure property in the Central Florida, Orlando, and Lake Nola area. By far, this is one of the best price. We actually closed dozens, 40, 50 homes, in the previous, recent years, and even in few months that we got a lot of clients purchase there. But by far, Neo City is an exciting project.
Yes.
and Toho, and especially with the 40,000 incentive. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a bit more about the HOA?
Sure. So it is, as you can see, there's luxury amenities that they put inside of here. So these are going to be low maintenance. So the yard is all taken care of, so that you're going to see a slightly higher HOA due to the low maintenance living. But these are going to be run under $200 a month. For each property in each series, these are going to change and vary a little bit as to what you could get in terms of the rental figure, what the exact tax rate's going to be, as well as the HOA. They are going to change a little bit depending on the product you go with. So what I'd like to do is, if that'd be okay with you, is to send out the details of each product, the exact HOA figures for you. And I can also show you what the rentals are going for whether you rent out the 3-bedroom or the 4-bedroom. We're definitely seeing in this price point in that area over $2,500 a month. So anywhere from $2,500 to $2,800. So you can see very high rental figures for the price. So I can get you guys all the details on that one. In addition to this Tahokwa community, Hanover Lakes also has the exact same HOA CDD fee of roughly around $200 a month. And that's going to vary depending on which product you go with as well. Tax rate is going to be a little dependent, when you're purchasing it as an investment, you're going to find they're going to be slightly higher. The tax rate the lenders are going to show in the area is significantly lower, I know, than California, but they're showing 1.25%. So as an investor, I see a lot of these properties coming in around 1.5 on the high end.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think this is reasonable. Yeah,
Yeah.
1.5, because we invested throughout the nation.
Mhm.
We've seen taxes as high as 3% in taxes.
Mhm.
And Florida, looking back, 1.5% actually, like is moderate.
Yeah.
And besides, I agree with you that the rental market is very strong, because I had just have like 3 or 4 closing with clients in the last month or so. Many of them got rented within weeks. And also, the property manager that we work with, we have started working with them since 2007. And we were able to negotiate a group rate for rental. So like say, when we go into the market, we usually will negotiate a volume discount. So even if like say, normally if they charge 10%, they only
Mhm.
charge us 8%. And then being that like say, we are very adamant in screening for good tenants, and the manager knows our criteria. So if you're buying a new home, being that the builder offers a 10-year structural warranty and 1 year, fit and finish warranty, and other, electrical and plumbing warranty. So is pretty much, like the first few years, it would be pretty hassle-free. And the manager can take care of all the leasing.
Mhm.
And being that Leo City is going to be a 15 years project, right? Is that correct?
Yes, and it
Nataka?
has started. It has already started. So they're actually going on for several years now. So it's already in development stages. But yes, very lengthy process.
I see. And who would be the primary developer? Because it's going to be a multi-billion project. I know is
Sure.
very high profile. And who's funding it?
Well, there's actually going to be quite a bit of different companies that are coming in. So this is a corporation who actually owns Neo City. And I was just off the phone actually with somebody who sold a house to the CEO out there. So this is a corporation. I'm not exactly sure who's funding what, but I could get more details for you on that. I'd hate to give you inaccurate information, but it is a corporation that has come in and actually planned the development of this entire process. So it started, it's been going on. They had to pause it during COVID because there was a shortage in materials, but it's been right back at, those materials have been coming in, no issues there. So it has become, been going on for several years now. So.
I see. Well, like when you invest in Florida, many of people would have like say question about like the impact of like say hurricane, and also whether the insurance would be high, and especially say Hanover Lake, would that be higher property insurance premium? Would they need any flood insurance?
Good
So
question.
maybe you can share. Yeah.
So we are inland. We're Central Florida, so it's much different than when you buy on the east or the west coast, where you're required to have flood insurance. So Orlando is not in a flood zone. In addition to that, Hanover Lakes, even being near the water, is actually not in a zoned flood zone, so it does not require flood insurance. Even when the hurricane did hit just recently, the Florida area, Hanover Lakes and St. Cloud was not impacted. So we are just so far inland that's why there's not the same requirements that you'd see on the Bay or the West Coast.
So like, do you have any range of insurance that you
Yeah.
can share with us, like say if they are, say, considering property in Hanover Lake or Toho?
Sure. So the premiums that I'm seeing come in are going to be roughly around $60 to $100 a month. And the $100 a month is going to be on the high end. Hanover Lakes, I've seen a lot in the $55 to $75 range for single family properties. So the
Yes.
premiums are going to be, 2,000 for under 2,000 for the year. So very, very low. Even with the hurricanes that hit, there was a slight increase in those premiums. But roughly from what the premiums that I'm getting and the lenders that I'm calling, we're not seeing more than a 10% increase.
Yeah, that's good to know. So basically, and for the builders, very often the lots are elevated. And also, like say, as you said, Central Florida is not so much impacted by the hurricane. So even Ian just visited Florida, and by the time when it reached Central Florida, it has slowed down and weakened in terms of its falls. And we have many clients own homes, in the Lake Nola and St. Cloud area. And I did actually try to check out with my clients. Actually, none of them have their properties impacted because of the hurricane.
Yeah, and that sounds correct. Yeah. One thing I'd also note is it's important to understand really the rental shortage here. And that's something that, you might want to research if you are looking to invest in this area for the investors. But there is a shortage here just because of a lot of the growth that has come and people migrating to the area. So that's why when you mentioned these rentals are going within 2 weeks, it's because people are lined up, trying to get into the area. They can't quite find the housing. So that's why a lot of the apartment complexes are going up and these multifamily developers are coming in because they know the job opportunity, the growth, the NeoCity coming in, they're all going to need housing. So that's where we're seeing a lot of a rental shortage. So it's going to be good. Build for rent is something very popular here. We're seeing entire hedge funds coming in and purchasing entire developments and turning those new homes into rentals because they know that shortage is now, presently an issue, but will continue to be one here.
Yes, especially I also heard from the builders that like what has happened, say in Fort Myers and those areas, some of the people decided they want to relocate to Central Florida. Yeah, and so there's some housing crunch, like people may not be able to find rental that soon. So that's why, like they're really going after new homes. And typically if you want to buy multifamily in Central Florida, is going to be a challenge because there's a lot of institutional owners, like the insurance company. They build like apartments that are 100 and plus unit, big complexes. There's not a lot of like duplex, fourplex. Very, very limited. But on the other hand, if you buy homes, and we've seen rental actually gone up a lot. Yeah, so like you said, like I just recently put a new tenant into a home that I closed last March. It's about like 1,800 square feet. And I was able to rent it to a Lockheed Martin engineer within 2 weeks after my last tenant left. And the rent is 2,500. So basically there are different type of professions in the area, and particularly we like this area of Central Florida, being that it is close to the medical city. Now there is the NeoCity that is really, a big project, and also being, I think, having robotic institutes, some of those tech like photonic companies.
Mhm.
And also there's another development known as Sunbridge, which is also a very big development that make it, like this particular part of Central Florida being in the limelight, attracting a lot of people to relocate here.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely what we're seeing.
Yeah. And then how about Airbnb? Would that be any opportunity for Airbnb?
So generally with the short-term rental Airbnb, you're going to want to look in areas that are zoned for short-term so that you don't run into any issues down the road. And what I mean by that is any types of fees. If it's not zoned, they can come after you and charge you fees. So these particular areas are not zoned short-term. And one of the things that I would really focus on, because I can help you with short-term, but long-term rentals tend to do and perform stronger. And the other thing that I'm also seeing is the appreciation tends to be a lot higher on these rentals where you're purchasing in an area that is zoned for long-term and not short-term Airbnb. And the reason for that is the upkeep of the community. It's not being constantly run down and rented out. So the rent is more consistent, the rent is stronger, and the appreciation is stronger when we're pulling those comps in 4 or 5 years later down the road after the investor wants to sell.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also because like if you have a short-term rental, sometimes if you are not local, you are trying to engage like local management, there would
Right.
be a higher property management fees, plus the city impose like
Mhm.
service fees, additional city tax. I just actually, I was going to attend a convention in Orlando. I tried to look at all different options and ended up like say the rental itself is not very high, but there's a lot of taxes that are imposed by the city
Mhm.
as well as service tax and cleaning fees. So I totally agree with Nataka that maybe a long-term rental is better in terms of cash flow and also appreciation.
Yeah, I think we get excited when we see the Airbnb numbers that are presented sometimes. And then as an investor, particularly even for myself, when I've looked into it and I dig into the numbers, one thing that I'll do is I'll pull in short-term areas here in Orlando. I'll actually get the tax returns and I'll actually get the projections of what that property has made Airbnb, and it never is very high. It's never as strong as what you see with the long term. So I definitely agree with you, Monica, and I think that's where Tahokwa, Hanover Lakes, focusing in on these areas that are near and close proximity to the attractions, but are not going to be in those short-term areas, are going to provide you greater appreciation long-term.
Yeah, that's right. So thank you very much, Nataka. Really appreciate the time on a Saturday to share with us all this good information. So we welcome any of you who are interested to learn more to contact me, and then I can give you some initial information, being that I myself, I have a number of properties in the area, and I have many of my clients in the area, and we've been seeing steady appreciation for the properties. And so please reach out to us and we love to discuss with you. And then we're going to share this recording as well as the presentation to everyone register by early next week. And thanks again, Nataka. Appreciate that very much.
And I appreciate you all, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Yeah, same here. Okay, very good. Thank you for everybody. Yeah, have a very good rest of the weekend and we shall be in touch next month. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.